Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nick Starchild. I help people of color and queer folks change their lives through travels, sabbaticals, career transitions, and financial literacy. I describe myself as a lifestyle architect. I help you design and build your house. You have to live in it and maintain it, but I give you real and practical advice to change your life. Personally, I've traveled all over the United States, and currently I live abroad. I've gone through many career transitions through a couple of different industries. I've taken a sabbatical, and I really care about financial literacy, so I was able to get myself out of credit card debt and establish investments. If you want help with that, or any of these topics, or just want to chat, you can use my Calendly link in the description below. And please like, share, and subscribe. You can comment. Commenting is nice and all, but I think people tend to treat comment sections as a right, not a privilege, and can be kind of negative or aggressive or hateful in the comment section, and I'm just not here for that. So if you do leave a comment, make sure that it's positive. If it's not, I'm just going to delete it. So why waste your time? But with that, let's get into today's topic. So today I want to talk about why I left the United States. So for me, so many reasons. To be honest, I wanted to leave the United States since I was a teenager. So back then I already knew something just didn't feel right about this country. Being a black queer person, you're just never really accepted, even though black people of color literally built this country. It's just never accepted for who you are, and there's always been hate or people just being negative for just you existing as a person. I've had my fair share of racist comments towards me and hate thrown at me to my face, so after dealing with that, and not to say that you're not going to experience that abroad, because you will. There's anti-blackness everywhere, but I get to choose where I go, and I'm picking countries that typically don't have as much anti-blackness. And so far, where I'm at right now, which, spoiler, I am in Mexico, and where I'm at in a touristy place, it's been very welcoming. Most people do not care that I'm here, and if they do, people will look at me, because if I'm when I first got here, I was in a neighborhood that was very residential and not part of the tourist area, and people would look at me and be like, oh, that person is new. They could tell I'm not from the neighborhood, but there wasn't ooh, why are you here? It was just an acknowledgement of, oh, you're a new person. And then most people have assumed that I speak Spanish, that I'm from here, that I know the language, which has been very nice and very, very endearing, but I am still working on my Spanish. It's very broken, but more of that to come, hopefully. It's going to get better over time. But yeah, so going back to why though, there's quite a few reasons why. So let's get into some of those. So I've never felt a part of the American dream. The whole thing is you're supposed to work really hard and then the fruits of your labor will happen. Well, that's not really true. That's not true for everybody. People work really hard all the time. That's the American culture. The Protestant work ethic is to work very, very hard, and that makes you a good person. But work defines you in the United States, but it doesn't define most people elsewhere. And usually people are incredibly unhappy here. They work really hard, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And from my experience, working hard doesn't really have anything to do with it. It really has to do with your connections, your network. Who do you know? What school did you go to? What people have you connected with? Networking gets you way further in life than any education or experience will. And that's coming from someone who is a recruiter. I help people get jobs. And of course, I look at their experience, and that's important. But a lot of times it's how did you even get this experience? And it's you track back to those questions, those original questions, and you find that they had a lot of privilege, that they knew someone who got them into school, or they had a great professor who got them their first job, what have you. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but a lot of times it's about who do you know to get you to the next step. And a lot of my success has been because of who I knew, people who connected me through referrals, or really great college professors, or bosses, or high school administrators who really helped change the trajectory of my life. So of course I did the hard work of going to school and working, but I wouldn't have gotten there unless certain people helped me. So That's one, right? Also, it's just like the you have to be super hard worker, but then if you're not fulfilled, it's like there's something wrong with you. Like it's your fault if like you're not happy. And I didn't like that. I am, and the crazy thing is like I enjoy working hard, but I didn't feel like what I was getting in return was worth it. It's like, yeah, work really hard, but pay all of these very expensive bills, and inflation's going up. The government does not care about you at all. We care about making money, and like corporations are considered people here, and like it's all about the bottom line and making money. Pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies gouging people. Like most people are very close to being homeless, or going bankrupt if they have like a medical condition or if they lose their job. A lot of people in the United States do not have $400 for an emergency. Like it's just not, considering that it has so much money. We as a people are not doing really well. And so I was like, if I'm going to work so hard, because I actually enjoy working and I work really, really hard. If I'm going to work hard all the time, working 10, 12-hour days, doing my projects, working on my things, I want to be fulfilled in that work, and I want to get something back from it that's not going to kill me in the end, right? Like here, it's like work really hard until you're 65, and then maybe even 70, and then, now you're no longer useful, and it's like, well, now you can just die because we don't really want you as a burden to the state. This country treats people like shit, and and it doesn't actually care about it. So like that is the biggest thing. I don't enjoy the whole work really hard and quote unquote pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which isn't true. You need help. Everyone needs help to get ahead. So that's a big one. Is I'm not about this American dream. It ain't for me. My second point is I don't like myself in the United States. Like I found that over time I was becoming so mean. So mean. I really didn't like other people. I was irritated. I was angry. And that could be also from where I was. The San Francisco Bay Area is really struggling financially, economically, mentally, so many things. And being around so much like blight, so much sickness, so many mental health issues, so much sadness, so much other anger, disregard for people, like bipping is really big there. Bipping is breaking into people's cars, and that was already a big thing in the Bay for a long time, but then it got kind of out of control during the pandemic, and it's just like people were doing the most, it's just too much. It's just too much. And yeah, I was just like, I didn't like people. I was really short-tempered, and I didn't like that lifestyle. I didn't like where that was heading for me. I just felt really stressed. I have high blood pressure, and I'm sure my blood pressure was crazy. It was so high. It was hard to maintain it, and then there's a lot of supplementing to get through it. So I was a huge stoner, and there's nothing wrong with cannabis. I love cannabis to this day. I love consuming cannabis, but I stopped consuming it right before I left, and then which was a little bit challenging, but not as challenging as you would think. It's not that addictive. It's just more habit forming. And once I stopped, and then I was like, okay, well this is fine, but like it's just harder to deal with people. I was using it as a medication to deal with the public, okay? And also to sleep. I found out that I used it for sleep quite a bit. I was not sleeping well. And once I stopped consuming, I was like, whoa, I can't sleep. That was hard. But I've gotten over that hump. But I was using it as medication to numb myself from all of the unfortunate things that were happening around me, and all of the hard work that I was doing to get through. So and eating like shit food all the time. It's just like American food is just full of preservatives, so much salt, so much fat, just like overly processed. And it does not help you. So that definitely played a part. And then I've been here in Mexico at this point for 2-3 weeks, and of course I might be still in that like what do you call it, honeymoon phase, I guess. But as soon as I landed, I just felt so much less stress. so much less. People here are not angry. People here are not exuding anger. They're not super upset by things. Of course, people are struggling, but like you don't see that manifesting in like day-to-day interactions. I was even surprised by like how you don't hear a lot of honking here. Like people honk to get your attention, to like let you know, hey, I'm trying to get around you. Hey, your food, like you're a delivery driver, you're just honking to let them know you're there. They're honking to get your attention, but they're not honking in an aggressive way. There's People don't aggressively drive here. It's really rare to see people speeding. Every now and then people do, but like most people are driving pretty slow, driving the speed limit, not in a rush. Like I don't see a lot of rushing here. People are just like living their lives. What a thought. And maybe that might be true in some places in the United States where there's less populations, the lower populations, and more ethnic cohesiveness. But I'm coming from more economic uh, disparities, more different types of people, which I kind of prefer to be around a big group of people with like different social and economic backgrounds and ethnicities and races. But because that's where I feel the most comfortable. Because when I'm in those places that are not like that, I stick out like a sore thumb and people treat me differently. So, but with that came so much heaviness, so much stress, and I just don't have that here. It's night and day. Another reason would be embracing like just travel in general, right? So there's just so much to see. I mean, the United States is a huge fucking country. I don't think the world understands. Like a lot of I like watch some TikToks and people like other people outside of the world do not understand how big the United States is. It's huge. It's 48 together, but 50 states plus territories. But the 48 states that are on the main part of the continent, the North America, huge. So much to see. So I'm not discounting that there's not a lot to see, but there's seeing it is hard. It's very expensive to get around, or to stay in hotels or what have you. They're so expensive. So it's really cost prohibitive to get to these beautiful places in the United States. Plus, a lot of those places are not welcoming to everyone. So that is also an issue. But with the world, I've been around the United States, by the way. I've traveled quite a bit in the United States. I've been to, I don't know, maybe like 24 states or something like that. So probably like I've been to half of the country, mostly the southern part, like the coastal southern parts. Yeah, the coast and the southern parts. I haven't really traveled that much up north, for particular reasons. But yeah, I've been around, but I really wanted to experience the rest of the world. And traveling in the rest of the world isn't that expensive if you are close to those places. So intercity travel, country traveling isn't that expensive when they're close together. It does get more expensive if you want to go to another continent. Of course, if I want to go to Africa, if I want to go to Asia, it's going to cost more money. But once you get there, getting to the other countries and the other places isn't that expensive. It's pretty reasonable. And I want to experience the world. I want to travel. I want to see things, So that's a big reason why I'm really excited to explore and have that wanderlust. So yeah, I've been thinking about it since I was a teenager, so that tells you a lot. Another thing is, like, if I live in the United States, my ancestors, literally blood, sweat, and tears, the women, children raped. Like, if they had to put up with all of that, and what I get out of that is the American privilege. I have so much privilege. I have freedom. I have the American dollar behind me. Why not use that? Why not use that and go do the things that I want to do? Why not? Like, if they did all of that and they sacrificed for me, why do I have to stay and keep fighting something that's not worth to me personally to fight for? I commend anyone who wants to stay and fight the man and do all that, but that sounds like that's too much work for me. I was a little activist when I was younger, and I quickly saw that things don't really change. You change the needle 1 inch, and then the powers that be take it back 2 inches. Okay, so it's like, it's not really worth it to me. It's just a waste of time, and I could be using my energy elsewhere for myself, and that's what I choose to do. I don't have any issues with that, and I don't feel guilt or shame, and it's really no one's business. It ain't nobody's business but my own, like what I'm doing with my life. And people who care so much to judge others who decide to leave the country, that's their problem. That's their own thing. And a lot of times it's jealousy. It's like, they're like, why are you able to leave and why can't I? And it's like, you can leave. You can do whatever you want. But if you chose to stay and fight that fight, it's not anyone else's responsibility. That's your choice. And that's the whole point of the freedom thing, right? You're free to choose to do what you want to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm choosing to opt out. Deuces, okay. But yeah, and then, the final thing is, I guess, is like, I've only, this is early, I've just left, but like, I do feel so much more free here. I just don't feel limited. I don't feel like I can't do something for the most part other than, what's not against the law. I just feel like there's so much here that I can do. I can live my life. I can discover myself. I'm going to learn this language, which is going to open the world up to me even more so once I can communicate more with people. It's just like there's so many opportunities. I feel so positive, and I'm like, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? So yeah, that's it. This journey has been pretty much, about me taking that step, acknowledging that I do not feel a part of the American dream, and I don't want to work hard to get it. I want to work hard elsewhere, outside of this country, outside of the United States. I really cared about my mental health, my mental and physical health, and it has been much better leaving behind the United States and that stress. I'm enjoying the wanderlust and traveling and exploring. It's been fantastic and it's been healing, and I can't wait to do more of it. And it's my choice. Like, I have the freedom to do what I want. I'm an adult, so I'm gonna do it. And then just feeling really great, feeling liberated. This is what that's what Americans talk about, is just feeling that liberation and that freedom. And I'm feeling it, yo. I am feeling it. So with all that said, if you want to feel this freedom, if you are interested in changing your life, please reach out to me. The links are in the description below. Thank you for watching this video, and your support means everything. That's the only way that I'm going to grow and reach the right people, is if you are watching this, if you share it, if you like it, and tell others about it. So I really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.